Hi everybody, welcome once more to Betty Healthy Kitchen. Today we want to prepare plantain, and then these plantain are going to be coated with just a little bit of breadcrumbs. To go with the breadcrumbs, I'm going to use this red paprika, the powdered red paprika, a little bit of powdered chili, and then what you're going to use is this margarine. We are not going to fry it, it is going to be baked. The sauce that you're going to serve it with are mushroom. I'm also going to show you how we are going to make this paprika minced meat mushroom with a little bit of coconut cream. Let's start off with our plantain. Now for the plantain, you have to make sure that they are not very ripe, but yellow spotted with black on the peels, on the peeling. So you have to peel off we have to peel off our plantain. It is not very ripe, it is just the best that is supposed to be. Remove the ends. It is much easier when you slice through so that the peels come out easily, because the plantain are already ripe. So we just cut through like this, and then you peel it off like that. And then when slicing, you slice it. Let me just put this thing properly. You see the way it's supposed to be sliced. You don't slice it, I don't like slicing it round. I slice it across like this. And again, it doesn't have to be so thick. You place it ready in the bowl, ready for coating. Just not so thick. Now, I normally don't use salt when on plantain. So anybody who would wish to use salt, it is as per the wish of the person who is making it. Now that one is done. So next we are going to take our margarine. You just put just a little bit of it, not so much also. You turn them to make sure that the margarine is, or the plantain. I'm going to use this instead. You make sure that the plantain has well been coated with the margarine. Then next we take our powdered paprika. I normally use my sieve. I always find it much easier using a sieve. You just take a little bit and then you put inside the sieve. Put this one on the side. I always find it much easier when I use my sieve on any powdered ingredient that I want to use. And then putting that on the side, we also then turn it well, making sure each and every part of the plantain is well coated with the paprika, the powdered paprika, as you can see. And if you wish, you can also add just a little bit, not so much. Well, then you put that one on the side, and then you turn inside. You make sure that the paprika is well coated right with the plantain. And then when using the powdered chili, it is hot, so you have to use just very little of it, not so much, otherwise you might spoil your recipe. Some people might not like eating it very hot, so just put a little bit of it. That is just enough. And then you also mix it very well, making sure that the paprika, the hot chili, the powdered chili is well marinated inside with the plantain. And then lastly, you take the breadcrumbs. Now the breadcrumbs, you can also just spread them on top like that. You don't have to use so much, that is just enough. And then meanwhile, while we are doing this, the oven is already on. It is running at 180 degrees because we are not frying our plantain. Instead, we are going to bake it. So you make sure that all the three ingredients have coated your plantain very well. You can see it is looking nice. It is somehow golden brown, and that is how it is supposed to be. Then we take the plate where we are going to bake it in, and this one we also just put a little bit of margarine, just a little bit, that's enough. And then using your brush, you just spread it evenly inside here. Make sure that the walls of the baking plate is also very well oiled. If you can see that, that is how it's supposed to look. And taking one of the forks, you just make sure that you arrange them very nicely inside here, giving enough space. Okay, they're not going to swell, but at least for them to cook well. Sorry. You place them very nicely inside here. Meanwhile, don't forget that the oven is running at 180 degrees. And then this banana, no, sorry, not the banana, sorry, the plantain are going to be baked there for about 30 minutes. You don't have to overbake them. You can also place them just on the wall of the baking dish because we have oiled it well. You just place them like that all around. You can see the color, it's really looking beautiful, the golden brown, because of the mixture that we had, the paprika, the chili, and you just place them like that. And then finally, just using this, you remove the rest of the coating. It is done. And then place your plantain. Okay, if I don't forget, these are rosemary leaves. The rosemary leaves always smell very nicely, so you just sprinkle them on top of the plantain before you put them in the oven. Just a little bit of them. Just do it evenly on top of the plantain. That one is done. And then the last one, for the parts that have not received the rosemary, super. So we take our plantain. If you can see the way it looks, this is how it is supposed to be. And then you just put it in the oven, which is already running. So that's it. So next we are preparing our mushroom. I'm going to show you the ingredients that you're going to use for the mushroom. Okay, I'm back now with the mushroom, and I want to show you what I want to make this mushroom with. Now, here I have minced meat. You see, I've already partitioned it into half because I'm not going to use the whole of it. It's a little bit too much. And then here I have these mushrooms. Now, this is the season of mushrooms. So if you're somebody who can eat mushrooms, this is the time to enjoy the mushrooms. And then I'm going to use these different kind of onions. I have the purple onions and the white onions, and just a little bit of the spring onions. And then this one here, these ones are sweet peas. Well, I have to tell you that anytime that I go to the supermarket and I find anything from any product from Kenya, not anything, any product from Kenya, anytime I go to the supermarket and I find a product from Kenya, I always have to buy, because we are told buy Kenya, build Kenya. Here, as you can see, it is written Kenya, so this is the product from my country, and I always try as much as possible to promote my country. So these are also the sweet peas and the red paprika. Now, apart from that one, I'm going to use a little bit of curry powder. I like this very much when I'm making some stew. And then with this, I'm going to use the coconut cream. This is the coconut oil. It is creamish. And then just to garnish, I'm going to use these mushroom sauce or powder. I'm going to use it inside there to make it a little bit thick. So let's start off. What was I doing? Now, as you can see, it is already dry. I just used a little bit of salt inside, not so much. So it is dry. What we need to do here next is just to remove it from the pan, and then we start with the onions and the other things. Now, as I told you, I'm going to use this coconut cream. I'm just going to take a little bit, not so much. The pan is already hot, so I just put the oil inside. And then we have to make sure that the oil is hot enough. Then I take my onions. First of all, I will start with the purple onions. These ones will come later. And when putting, you make sure that you stir so that they may not get burnt. You stir them. If you wish, you can add just a little bit of oil, the coconut oil. Cover it, and then you go on with stirring your onions. Here I had already prepared some mashed garlic. Garlic is inside here, turmeric and ginger. I'm just going to take a little bit of it, not so much. The yellow color that you see, that one is fresh turmeric. You just stir in. And then our black pepper, just turn it, stir everything evenly inside. And then at this point, we are going to put in our already fried minced meat. Remember, inside this minced meat, I had already put some salt, so don't forget, if you had used salt before, don't forget to add some more, otherwise you're going to spoil your recipe. So you turn in the ingredients well so that they may blend well, the onions and the minced meat to blend well. And then we are going to take this. As I told you, this is this powdered mushroom. I also use it a little bit just to make the recipe a little bit thick. You turn in, stir, stir. And then at this point, we are going to use our cocoa cream. Okay. Okay, at this point, we are going to put in our coconut milk. It is creamish, like you can see. You just stir it in the ingredients that are already in the pan. And then we bring in our mushroom. You just put them bit by bit. Make sure that you turn them also well inside. You leave them to settle a little bit. You take your onions, the spring onions. Got this one? Now our mushroom is cooking. And it has to cook well, because otherwise you don't want to eat raw mushroom. So we turn in right inside from down. Those that are down are supposed to come up. Our minced meat should cover the mushroom, uyoga in Kiswahili. This is some very delicious kind of food. Yeah, it is, of course. So you have to prepare it with caution. You have to add a little bit of coconut milk, just a little bit on top, not so much. You can see the way the consistency it is showing already. Very nice. Now I'm not going to add any salt, because when I was preparing the mincemeat I had some salt inside, and this mushroom powder also has salt inside. Otherwise you are going to spoil your recipe with so much salt. Then lastly, we bring our Kenyan peas, our Kenyan sweet peas, and then we also have our paprika. Now this one has to be covered and left to cook a little bit before we remove our recipe ready to eat. Now just look at the way it looks. red, green, almost our flag color. Sorry. Yes, this is our color, red and green. What is left here is only the white and black. Okay, maybe the mushrooms can cover the white part, only the black is missing. We need to leave it to cook a little bit before it is ready to be served. Meanwhile, if we look down in the oven, this is our plantain that we had already prepared. If you can see, it is ready. Just look at the color, and the rosemary on top of it makes it look very beautiful. So it just has to, I have to switch off the oven so that it waits for the sauce to get ready. Now our sauce is here. It is still cooking. Now, just to be sure, make sure that the salt is enough. Let me taste. It is enough. Good. And our sauce is almost ready. What is only left now is the coriander, because coriander normally comes last after the food is ready. You don't start putting coriander when you're frying the onions. No, otherwise you're going to lose that taste and that aroma. So you just take a little bit and sprinkle on top of. Let me just remove this. And make sure that anytime you want to use coriander, you have to wash it, because they always have a lot of soil on the leaves. So you have to make sure that you wash it clean. Otherwise, when you'll be eating, you'll be cracking, your teeth will be cracking the soil and the sand, which might not be good. Just look at this. This is how it is supposed to be. I can even just smell that coriander. It's not supposed to turn brown. It is supposed to remain green the way you can see it. So our food is ready. I just switch off the oven so that if you wish, you can also still just a little bit of the black pepper on top. That one, I think, is now our mushroom sauce. Now, for those who wishes, we also have this soy sauce. The soy sauce, I don't have to put it inside here. I'm going to put it on the plates after I will have served the meal. This one I'm going to show when I'm serving the meal. It's just coming soon. Sauce is here. I think I'm just salivating now. Anyway, what I want to do, normally after I finish cooking, I always have to make sure that I keep my things. Like for example, that one I had touched it. I make sure that it is clean like that. The cooking oil, before I store it back to where it's supposed to stay before the next cooking, I make sure that I have to, each and everything has to be made clean. This one is still going to be in use. These ones are supposed to be kept inside here. Everything has its own position so that when I want, these are my spices. I have different kind of spices. That is the Himalaya salt. I have the curry powder. I have the turmeric. I have this one, what is it called? This is Simt. What is called Simt in English? Oh, sorry. This is cinnamon and many more. I also have this black pepper if I don't want to use this big one. I also have cloves. Look at this. And this very hot sauce. If you want to eat it hot, you just put it in your food. And many other more that are inside here. I don't have to show everything. What I just wanted to show is that after cooking, I always make sure that I leave my kitchen pretty clean before I put the food on the table. So like this one has to go in the fridge. I put it inside the fridge, and I always have position for each and every item so that even if I'm closing my eyes, I just put my hands like this and I retrieve it from where it is. This one is my mashed ginger and turmeric. This one also has to go back in the fridge, but meanwhile the ones that I used and were left must also go inside here, because if I don't store them in the fridge, they might get spoiled and I'll have to use them again. So that one has to be kept inside there properly. This one is going to be cleaned with hot water before I put it back where it's supposed to be. Then meanwhile, we also have our Kenyan. Oh yeah, not the Kenyan. I need a place where I can put my meat. Anyway, I still don't have any free box, so I think I'm going to use something different to store it. I'm just going to use this my foil, because anything, it has to go in the fridge before it is used again. Just make sure that you cover it properly with the foil so that it doesn't get contaminated. And then these two items, I have to bring them inside the fridge. Oh, not forgetting my sweet Kenya beans. These also have to go in the fridge. Otherwise, this is what I wanted to show you. Normally I have to clean my, I'm just finishing with the cleaning. Normally I have to clean my kitchen after cooking before I place my food on the table. Otherwise, I'm really grateful for you being my followers. Just don't forget to share, like, click or the notification bell or button for more of this kind of recipes. Thank you very much, and kwaheri. Bye bye.
Willst du noch zeigen, wie es dann auf dem Teller aussieht?
Bitte?
You want to show like you put it on the table?
Yeah. This one is to be. Es läuft noch, Thorsten. Warum hast du talk? Now, how do you keep or how do you store your coriander in the fridge? Now, just look at this. First of all, you have to spread them out like this to make sure that they dry up. And then once they are dry up, you roll them in this kitchen paper. You make sure that you roll them like that, and this way they can stay up to between 3 and 4 days, or even up to 1 week, 5 days, let me say, not 1 week, not 7 days. So you just roll them in that serviette or kitchen paper like that, and using a rubber band, you just hold it fast so that it may not open up when it is inside the fridge, and then you keep it inside your fridge. Coming next, we have to serve our. Now just see how the plantain has come out. That was the marination of the breadcrumbs, paprika powder, or the powdered paprika, and a little bit of chili, powdered chili. Then what you can see on top, those ones are the fresh rosemary, but right now they are cooked. So we serve our meal. Just this plantain was already ripe. Okay, normally the best plantain to prepare for a meal are the ones that are ripe. They are sweet, but they cannot be eaten like normal banana. They have to be cooked. So we just have to serve them. And then we come now to our uyoga. Uyoga meaning mushroom. Uyoga is Swahili term for mushroom. This is the mushroom sauce. The mushroom sauce, we used some minced meat, and then on top of it we had the Kenyan bean, the green one, that is the Kenyan bean, and the red paprika. And then to garnish that one, we also use coriander and just a little bit of chili. And don't forget, I also used coconut cream to make the sauce. Now this is what we have here. For those who have never tasted mushroom, it is time you try, because you just really don't know what you are missing. Just look at this. This is what we have: the plantain and the mushroom. Please just don't forget, as usual, to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget the notification button or bell for more recipes and more others. Thank you very much for following me.